Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and here we go on a Tuesday morning. All right, the Super Bowl is set for the NFL. I was 0 for 2 in my picks. Looked like I was going to go 1 and 1. Should have gone 2 and 0. Let's just start out with what I'm most frustrated with. I said it last week. Why did Buffalo not pressure Mahomes? This week, first half, Baltimore sat back. Second half, got aggressive. What is it? What is it? For years, the entire mantra of the playoffs was get pressure on Manning, make him move his feet. Get pressure on Rivers, make him move his feet. Get pressure on Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Donovan McNabb. The older quarterbacks at the time, Brad Johnson, Drew Bledsoe, Dante Culpepper, another one of the young guns at the time, Jake Plummer, Trent Green, Chad Pennington. I can name them all. Get pressure on them. Pressure. Move that clock faster than what it is. I don't understand why teams are delaying rushing the clock. I don't. My entire thought process is they haven't caught the ball well. Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, they haven't caught the ball all year long. They lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Packers. They lost to the Raiders. The Raiders put pressure on Mahomes. The Broncos put pressure on Mahomes. The Bills in game number 1 put pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes is no different. He's not Superman. He's not the best quarterback to ever play the game. He's got Andy Reid. He hasn't played defenses that will just beat him. He shouldn't be in the Super Bowl right now. This is like a lot of the Brady years. He shouldn't be there. To the credit, that Chiefs defense has really tightened up in the playoffs. Steve Spagnuolo really deserves a lot of credit for what he's done in the playoffs. He does deserve a lot of credit. Between the two defensive coordinators that are facing each other this week, I will say that honestly, yeah, Steve Spagnuolo has done a better job than Steve Wilkes defensively in the playoffs. I will absolutely say that. Absolutely. Now, the other thing I'll say is that I don't know what's going on. You can carve up the Ravens offense as much as you want, I guess. I'm not so sure about the game plan. I'm not sure about everything that they were trying to accomplish. basically in the first half. The second half, they came out and rocked everything. The second half, they came out and were the Baltimore Ravens. Then they turned the ball over in the red zone twice. And there's your ball game. The key for the Super Bowl is simple. Kansas City doesn't have weapons. Is Steve Wilks going to look at the tape from all season and realize that Mahomes has a major weakness? The fact that he doesn't have any receivers? Rice is good. He's a low-end one, definitely a top-end two. He's got Travis Kelce and then Isaiah Pacheco. Come on. Come on. Go get him. Attack Mahomes. Corner blitzes. Linebacker blitzes. You've got Greenlaw. You've got Warner. Go get Mahomes. It just depends on what he does. That's all I can say is it depends on what he does. I don't have any other idea of why these defenses haven't been doing what has worked year after year after year. Tampa Bay did that to them and won the Super Bowl. If you want a shootout, go ahead. Don't put pressure on them. If you want to win the game, go get them. They're not that good. Go get them. I swear. I don't know what they're doing. I just don't. Yeah. Now, NFC Championship game. I told you guys this 2 weeks ago. I told you this after the win over the Buccaneers. My problem with them is, the Lions, my only problem with them is, all year long they've given up second half leads and let teams back in the game. Well, this time it bit them in the butt. So here's what I am looking for the Lions to try to improve on next year. Coming out of halftime, just as focused as you did opening the game. Concentration drops, missed blocking assignments, a lot of different things in that game. In the second half for the Lions. The first half, you're up 24-7 on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. Beautiful play calling. Ben Johnson absolutely showed. I said it in the preview. I will say it now. He cemented why he is coveted as the head coach, presumably for the Washington Commanders. If he says no again, because they didn't sign him on Monday, if he says no again, we're not done in Detroit. It's going to make it interesting of who is ready to go take over the Commanders or the Seahawks. He's still got 2 jobs open. And I am still contending that Pete Carroll should take over Arizona and Gannon needs to be fired. Coaches are sitting there that they know what they're doing. He's not missing any time. He's been a coach the whole year. He already knows who he likes out of college. If I'm Arizona, I'm still firing Gannon. I want all those draft picks. Which this week we will be doing the draft pick 10 by 10, 10 teams by 10 teams. We will be doing those starting tomorrow of the draft capital and the draft picks that each team has. So we will be doing that. But I don't know. Well, let's just put it this way. Offensively, I can see why Ben Johnson's coveted. The key in Washington for him is going to be needs to get a defensive coordinator, an aggressive defensive coordinator, because he himself is very, he has a lot of Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, the play calling prowess that you really want. I would absolutely want him to get a really good defensive coordinator that's aggressive. The Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris is building the Los Angeles Rams of the South. He brought in the quarterbacks coach to be the offensive coordinator, and he still signed a defensive coordinator. He did sign a defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator that was there prior to no, it was Brandon Staley. After Brandon Staley. So here's what Atlanta looks like right now. It looks youthful. It looks fun. Very youthful, very fun. It doesn't look typical. It looks like the Houston Texans from last year. I think the Falcons will continue to be a fun team to watch, just like the Texans. And give credit to Raheem Morris for continuing to just let the positions fill themselves. They did retain the offensive line coach. That offensive line played fantastic last year. That was not one of their problems. Good on him to not mess up something that doesn't need to be touched. So good for him. I think Raheem Morris is going to do just fine in Atlanta. I really do. The division is weak. That division is outrageously weak. I'm sorry. I still don't trust Todd Bowles. That team is 500. Give me a break. Let's just be honest here. I don't trust the Saints at all. And obviously the Panthers, listen, good for Canales. I know. No first round pick. Don't have a fourth or fifth round pick either. I'm sorry. Seattle does have draft picks. They went 9-8. Winning organization. Patient. Winning organization. The news today was actually out of Pittsburgh, where the top end said we need to start winning playoff games again. Making them isn't enough. You have to win them. You got to win at least one. You got 3 weekends. Super Wild Card Weekend, Divisional Round, AFC Championship. You got to win one. 7th seed, 5th seed. You're not winning that division. And unless you're going to make a big swing, you've got to make a really big swing at an offensive coach. I don't think it's going to matter. You've got Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay over in that NFC West. And the Seahawks fired Pete Carroll, a legendary coach. He can't beat either one of the two now. At all. Mike Tomlin with the Steelers now is Zach Taylor, Kevin Stefanski, and John Harbaugh. Now, I believe Tomlin in and of himself is a better coach than everybody except Harbaugh. The problem is he's actually not when it comes to player personnel. Now, I did say in the last time I was talking about coaches, I did say that Zach Taylor kind of feels a little bit Nick Sirianni to me. He's got to have Joe Burrow, which is fine. But his success is directly tied to Joe Burrow, although what he did with Jake Browning was impressive, so it gave me a little bit more confidence in him. But not a ton. So, where are we at with it? I think Stefanski, with what he did with Cleveland this year, honestly, could move him in front of Tomlin. Yeah, Tomlin makes the playoffs every year. Good for you. Stefanski won a game with 4 different quarterbacks. The reality is this. If Pittsburgh wants to maintain what they need to do, they're going to need a different coach, and they're going to have to swing for a guy that may already be in the NFL. Got to win playoff games. Got to win playoff games. I don't know what's going to happen. Seattle's position is odd. From everything I've read, Ben Johnson's getting Washington. We've got coordinator spots that are slowly being filled in. Ken Dorsey is an offensive coordinator again. I don't know why, but he is. Joe Brady is no longer the interim in Buffalo. He is the actual coordinator. Kellen Moore is an offensive coordinator again as well. So looking at how the coordinators are shaking out, Brian Callahan said he is going to be the one calling plays in Tennessee. Don't know why. Don't know why. I still think to this point, the Colts offense would have been better if Jim Bob Cooter was playing the play calls. Because that offense sucked. I don't know what people were watching. That motion is the dumbest motion in the world. The dumbest motion. I don't know what the metrics are for motion on a play. I hope it's not when they go from one set to another set. Because remember, you can't, with two people moving at the same time without being set is a penalty. So when they're switching sets and they're switching where everything's at, like the reality of this is that's not motion. Motion is doing whatever the heck he's doing with Downs all the time, where he comes across, runs back out, and tries to run the wheel route. That eventually teams even stopped paying attention to. Completely. Just stop paying attention to it. Offensive play calling is an art. Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur to some degree, Kevin O'Connell. In the old days, Tom Moore, Charlie Weiss. Beat you. Just flat out beat you with their play call. Cam Cameron. Man, what a play caller. Man, what a play caller. When it comes down to it, you need somebody that knows football. You just do. You need somebody that understands the game, knows how to feel the game. A lot of people are jumping on Dan Campbell, and yes, I will agree with them on one of the plays, one of the fourth downs. Take the points. You've got to. You're playing for a Super Bowl. You take the points. Understanding football. You know, there was something out on Twitter that weekend before, the last time that he was in San Francisco is when the 49ers completed the miraculous comeback over the Giants when he was a tight end backing up Jeremy Shockey. And he got outrageously frustrated. This past week, the weather was gorgeous. No dreary drizzle. Just absolutely beautiful. His team came out on fire. And when he could help settle everything down, he didn't. I will absolutely agree with that. He could have made it 0-0. It's who wins from here on out. Remember, that's how the great ones look at a tie. Get it tied, we're at 0-0 from this point on to the next. Get it tied, 0-0. Here we go. Coaches, get it tied at the end of the second quarter, going into half. Boys, here we go. We're 0-0 again. Straight up on the board. Here we go. 30 more minutes of football. 0-0. Who's going to win? You had that shot, and yeah, he messed that one up. He definitely did. That's coaching. You take points because points still win. The Lions had a heck of a season. They can't hold their head. I mean, they can't drop their heads. They can't lay them low because, doggone it, you made the championship game. You make the playoffs. You beat the Rams. You beat the Bucks. You had a 17-point lead on the freaking 49ers on the road. I said it all year. Say it. Said it earlier. You got to close out games better. You got to close out games. Just got to. All right. So we have the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus 49ers, matchup number 2. We got head coaching carousel that is still going because the Commanders and the Seahawks have not finalized their head coaching positions. We got the coordinator carousel as everybody and their brothers trying to figure out what they're going to do. We got the draft that is a little bit less than 3 months away now. Scouting combine is next month. Pro Bowl is this Sunday. Football's winding down. Know what that means? That means we got to find another sport to talk about. That's what that means. Now, for those of you who did not listen to the Future Talk Coach Talk episode, the part of the Future Talk is already done. The channel is now Sports Talk with Hawk because I'm enjoying this. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to see what we can do. The plan is 4 podcasts a week during the off season of the NFL, where I go over different things, baseball, basketball, throw some hockey in there when I can, potentially maybe some NASCAR. I used to love the sport. I watched on YouTube a video last week of every Daytona and Talladega finish over the last 15 to 20 years. Really cool stuff. Man, it was nostalgic. Freaking awesome. Loved it. So, may throw some of that in there. The Olympics will be during the summertime. We will absolutely keep track of that. I am 1,000% diehard American. I love my country, and I appreciate every athlete that goes over there that actually represents us correctly and with integrity. I appreciate what they do and the training they do, and it is a great honor for them. In the States, we don't look at the Olympics the same way. We're used to kind of always being one of the 2 best in almost everything. Don't think you realize in other countries, an Olympic medal is a key to the country. You're royalty. You can't be touched. It means that much. In many countries, you bring home a gold medal, you have brought honor to everybody that comes down your bloodline. Honor is on your family forever. In the States, we kind of just, the Olympics, it's cool. Opening ceremony, blah, 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 blah. We kind of watch everything, but we don't. I always watch it because I do root for those countries and those athletes who have been training outrageously hard to do something. And if they get that gold medal, they will get an honor that they will never receive outside of that. So it is a big deal. So I absolutely talk about that when the time comes. But for tonight, let's talk some basketball. Let's talk some basketball. I watched on Saturday night the Nuggets and 76ers game and the Lakers Warriors game. Now, I am once again, I am a homer when it comes to basketball. I love the Pacers. I don't really have one secondary team. I have players that are on teams, which means I root for those teams. Is kind of how it works. So for years, I did love the Spurs. Loved the Spurs. Loved the Magic. Loved Dirk Nowitzki. Loved Tim Duncan. Two very classy professional guys that I grew up with. Okay? That I grew up with. So, with that being said, I had the opportunity to go back and watch some of the old games again. That was fun. That was fun. And then I watched Saturday night. That was frustrating. That was that was frustrating. Players aren't better now. I'm sorry. Players are not better now. And if you need any proof of that, play any game. Play any game. Okay? I remember NBA Live 2001. I remember that game. I remember 2002, 2003. I remember NBA Live 2001. Here's the reality when you actually look at everything. You have got teams all over the NBA in NBA 2K23 that have multiple starters below the 78 overall ranking. 2001? No. 2001, you had basically 4 of your 5 were 80 or above. Vin Baker was 79. This is overall rating. Jason Kidd was an 87 or an 88 at the time. Like, most of the time your centers were your low ones. I remember after my dad bought a PlayStation 3 when they came out, he bought the PlayStation 3 and I got NBA 2K6 was the first game I got. And I remember because the Heat had Shaquille O'Neal at the time. That was the cover. The overall ratings of players were higher. Now they're not. They're lower. Because they don't play defense. Offense has to hold a lot more weight in the ratings department because they don't play defense. Who are the best players? Jason Tatum plays defense. Tyrese Halliburton plays defense. Karl Anthony Towns plays defense. The reality is with this, the players are worse. Interest in the game is down. But yet it is still the league that is the easiest to start up a franchise. Like, can we just be real here? Can we just be real? It's only 15 players. 15. And then you can have a G League affiliate. $15 players, it's the least of all of the professional sports. 15. I guess maybe hockey is the same. You got 12 that can be active for a game, 3 that are on reserve. Now, let's go back to Saturday night. That Warriors and Lakers game confused the life out of me. Yes, it ended up being a thriller of a game. But was it? I miss the days where thriller games actually came down to you not thinking that the team was going to score because, well, they're not playing defense. 145, 144. It's a lot of points. And to win it at the line is even better. I mean, that's just funny. Being honest here. That itself is just funny. But really, what is the allure to the game outside of the fact that it is a game that everybody can play? It really is. Not all can be great at it, but they're showing that it doesn't take that right now. The executives are basically like, once you get outside of the top 10 in the NBA draft, it's nothing. Are you kidding me? It's only a 2-round draft. 2. And there are more players available to them in that 2-round draft because there's only 30 teams. So that's 60 players total that are drafted. 60. Like, come on. That's it? That's one player every other team in college basketball. One player every other team. Something's got to give. There has got to be a way to make the sport relevant again. There has to be. I just don't know what that is. The 76er Nugget game, that was fun to watch. Not going to lie, that was a lot more fun to watch. The Warriors and Lakers, the broadcasters kept talking it up about the meeting between the two legends, Steph Curry and LeBron James. And I was like, I don't care. It's an old LeBron James. It's an old Steph Curry. LeBron James doesn't play much defense because now it's just score, 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 score. You can't touch him, so you just let him go. It's not the same. The intensity isn't there. It's what I'm looking for. I miss the intensity. I've said this I will love the second half of the Chiefs and Ravens game. I absolutely loved it. The intensity was there. You could feel it. I don't feel that in basketball. Bruce Bowen, Ron Artest, Tayshaun Prince, Rick Fox, guys that were there for defense, made your best shooter disappear. Flat disappear. Kawhi Leonard used to be defense. Leaves San Antonio, wins a championship with Toronto, goes and gets paid in LA and hasn't done jack squat there at all, but just got paid again. Yes, I am an old timer in a young person's body because I like competition. I like what it brings. It brings out the best that there can be. It's why football is loved by everybody. It's the most competitive, from coaching to the players, and evidently nowadays to the fans. The NFL is the most competitive. I'm sure we'll touch on baseball. That is still an intricate game to play, and I'm sure we'll touch on that sometime probably in March, maybe February, as different things happen. Guys, I love it. I'm excited for what's going to happen in the future. I got a lot of notes for the next 3 nights. Make sure to hit that notification bell. If you are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. We are going to do the draft for each team, all 32 teams. Because the number of draft picks and the positioning isn't going to matter for the final 2. It's actually not. So, hit that bell. Hit that bell. That way you get notified when they come out. Got a lot of notes over the next 3 nights. It's going to be fun. The draft capital and all the draft picks per team as of right now, per team, before a couple of, I think there's only 3 picks that are currently the ones if a player resigns, then it goes up. I think there's only 3 conditional picks left, and those will kind of play themselves out. But we're going to go with everything currently standing as is. I think you'll be shocked to see which teams really do have a leg up in this draft. Really do. There are a lot of teams that actually have some draft capital that's wild. Some wild draft capital. A lot of draft picks. I think you'll be interested to see. Guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we start our draft pick weekend as basically a 3-day journey. 3-day journey through the draft of 2024. Thank you so much, guys. This is Sports Talk with Hawk. I'm Hawk, and I'm out.